During the winter, far up in the northernmost part of Sweden, an increasingly large proportion of Europe's car industry gathers to test new products under the most difficult conditions imaginable. Volvo has been the pioneer in this area and now for the first time has opened its doors, just a crack, to its field operations north of the Arctic Circle. As the leader in development in winter testing, Volvo's test engineers continually embark on new expeditions in the mountain areas, and behind this icy curtain, the absolute torture of cars takes place.
This is a very important part of the testing. Here, everything in the car is on the edge. Forces in clutches, gear shifting, instrument, everything is getting slower, heavier.
Cold starts down to minus 30 degrees Celsius, both in freeze containers and out in the winter night. Groups of engineers test to see how engines, electronics and brakes function, whether or not they screech or rattle, how the car runs. Snow tests are something that Volvo have particularly focused on. Intensive driving in snowstorms takes place on floodlit test tracks in order to be able to quickly obtain results and evaluate how new models cope with the problems of snow spray.
We are focusing on the engine air filter installation. We're making sure that we don't get snow dust into the filter system. Because when we have snow packing in that system, we will have a large pressure drop over the filter paper. And this will reduce the performance of the vehicle.
Test drivers act like normal drivers and see how the car responds. They then report their findings to the test engineers. Computers register everything that happens with the engine, with the instruments, and the temperature surrounding the engine compartment, and in the air filter. The winter tests are one of the last confirmations that the new models or the modifications made function reliably before they go into production.
We're trying to find all the faults that can come up when the car is new, so we can fix it before the production starts.
You have to have a very great experience of cars and find a way to solve problems and really enjoy working with cars.
Customer-adapted driving takes place both on the test track and out on the public highway. Engineers and test drivers in this respect act as stand-ins for Volvo's customers and frequently have many years' experience as car constructors and drivers.
It was almost 6-7 years of my life. I was a test driver. I think I've been driving about 25 laps around the world.
Veronica is the youngest in the test driver team, born and bred in a mountain environment.
I'm trying to find if there's any problems, like noise, and if there's something wrong with the car, I write a report.
Is it a tough job?
Yes, when you, hour after hour, you have to sit and drive around the tracks, and it can get very tired.
The most experienced test engineers travel around the world and drive in all conceivable environments. Here, Marcus Marklund tests the car's ultimate capabilities on a frozen lake within Volvo's secret test area.
If you meet a lorry or a truck in an icy road, you can have this type of situation when you need to brake or something in the curve, and then the car should react safely and smooth. It should be controllable in all situations. And here we can test the AVD system, and you can feel how it pushes away, and you don't want too much oversteer. It's easy to handle, and even if you push it over the limit, it's controllable and doesn't have any surprises. So I think it's quite good.
The four-wheel drive of the Volvo SUV XC90 is tested off-road as far away from the crush of the big city and wide asphalt avenues as could be imagined. It's a question of ensuring that the techniques function and do not get worn out in such difficult situations as this.
I would say that every part or every system in the car is very, very important, because if something fails, it can be very bad consequences for the customer in the end.
During the whole of the winter, daily expeditions make their way out to accumulate mileage with the help of local test drivers. Hasse is a huntsman and security guard. Anna-Karin a housewife. Matthias is a mechanic. Bertil drives a recovery truck. They live in what is called Lapland. The habitat of Scandinavia's original inhabitants, with their reindeer, lapcots and their own flag. Winter testing is essential for a quality motorcar today. They must be able to function without any compromise in all climates and weather conditions. And here, the modern motor industry from the whole of Europe has become a growing industry in a region under the threat of serious depopulation.
Today I drive 283.4 kilometers.
Oh. And have you done any sort of experiences about the car? Is it working okay?
It's working okay, no problem.
Matthias, the car enthusiast.
I like car very much. It's a hobby.
His advice for those that drive on icy roads is:
You must think, you not can just step on the gas.
Anna-Karin's point of view is equally simple.
You must like to drive a car, and you have to be a good driver.
Several of Volvo's test drivers are women. One aspect of winter testing that test boss Anders Polheimer particularly safeguards.
Because they have a little bit different feeling of the cars and how a car should work. It's they are thinking more daily usage than we men do. It's quite a lot of performance when we talk.
Many thousands of kilometers are driven during a winter expedition.
Yes, about 30,000 kilometers. The engineers want to know what's happened with the car when they have run 1,000 kilometers and 2,000 and so on. It's important what the woman thinks about the car. If we found anything wrong with the car, and they take us seriously. Lots of moose or elk. We haven't have any accident with the moose or with the reindeer.
Within the secret test base, apart from roaming reindeer, nothing other than the test cars doing their endless circuits can be seen. The Volvo team take their assignment very seriously indeed. Their jobs depend on how they can form a reliable car that will sell well against increasingly stiff competition.
You have to like to like cars, of course, and long experience of cars, about 20-30 years, and also to follow the cars from very early phases, from the beginning and to the end of when we have put the cars in production.
That feeling when we have the car in production is really great.
Everything is harsh, everything is cold. It is a very difficult environment. But still, our customers, of course, think that the car should work in every climate.
It is after being put through intensive torture here in the north of Scandinavia, sometimes through a freezing hell, that Volvo cars receive approval and move on to the next stage. No laboratory test or computer test in the world could possibly replace this.